I have been selling this book, Zanazli and Wan Chun Hong's Guide to Indie Filmmaking, which is published by MPH for a while now. It's a really good book if you want to be a filmmaker, whether it's for YouTube, social media, TV, film, cinema, whatever. This is the book to get. I'm going to make it more accessible and more affordable to all of you because I believe that everybody needs to become a filmmaker. The more filmmakers we have in the world, I think this world will be a better place to live in. Now it's available as an electronic book download on my website. I'm going to link it here. It's really cheap, it's really affordable. It's only 5 ringgit if you want to get the ebook version. Okay, 5 ringgit. It doesn't really cost much, right? It's just a little bit of something for me. I mean, it did take a lot of work to write. Each chapter of this book talks about one part of the filmmaking process. And for each chapter as well, I interview a local filmmaker. It's only 5 ringgit. It's only 5 ringgit. You're watching and listening to the Fat Bidin Film Club. I'm assuming I'm Zan Azli. As usual, every week we watch a local film and we review it. And this week we're watching a local film and we're reviewing it.
It's called Snow in Midsummer.
Okay, so we watched
Snow in Midsummer.
Snow in Midsummer by Chong Kit-on.
Yes.
Chong Kit-on also made the film The Southern Islet, isn't it?
Yeah.
I remember watching it. I don't remember what it's about. What was it about?
I don't know. I don't think I watched
Southern Islet. We
Did
watched it together.
We watched it.
We reviewed it.
Oh. Oh, I don't know. Can't remember.
If you don't remember, you can watch our review of it.
Okay. We'll link it down here.
No, it's up there.
Oh, it's up there. Okay. Anyway.
Okay, so what is this film about? It's called Summer in Midsummer.
Snow in Midsummer. So it starts. It's basically a. I don't know if you would call it a commemorative film.
Commemorative.
Would you call it a commemorative film? The film is about May 13th, okay? So it follows this mother and daughter pair who travel to KL, to Pudu. They are like a Baba Nyonya family. And they travel to KL. And there's a riot, you know, the May 13th riot. And they hide with the opera troupe that keeps them safe at the time. Fast forward to like 40 years later, they've discovered the mass grave in Sungai Buloh, and
because the husband and the son died in the.
So the husband and the son were also in KL.
They went to the cinema. They went to the Majestic to watch, and we all knew that everybody in that cinema was massacred.
Yeah, so they went to the cinema to watch a film, and then so then their bodies were never found, and fast forward 40 years, still haven't found the bodies. So the mother has now passed away, and then the daughter Eng is in, I want to say, an abusive relationship, but it just doesn't seem like a very good marriage. She travels down to KL to find her brother and her father's grave, but then she doesn't really find the grave. So she prays at a unidentified person's.
So it's also very much based in history. So several years back, I can't remember what year, 2017, 2016, 2009, I can't remember what year, a mass grave was discovered.
Yeah.
So then they made this place, then they made that the graveyard to commemorate those in memory of the people who died during the riots So that's where she went, right?
Yeah, correct. But that's basically the film.
So the story runs between May 13, 1969 and May 13, 2018. So it
not really runs but it's it starts in May 13, 69, and then the second half is 2013.
Yeah. And throughout the film, you don't see much of the riots because it's told in a. Well, I guess now we talk about what we think about the film.
What do we think about the film?
Throughout the film, you don't see the riots. you hear certain things, and you get glimpses of or hints of what is happening. It's a riot and all that, but you really don't see anything because they don't shoot. They shoot only from the perspectives of those people hiding out, running.
The focus is really on this mother and daughter and the opera troupe lah.
And that's all, right? They don't really talk much about riots either. There are some scenes where, like news clips.
If you know, you know lah. It's that kind of thing.
And you hear like you hear on the radio. They turn on the radio that Tunku Rahman is going to give a speech. They'll make an announcement.
Emergency martial law.
But you don't hear also actually. You don't really hear his announcement also. But you know what's going on lah. Right. I don't know.
We don't know if you don't really hear because that's memang how the film is, or because it was censored. Because this film is also quite heavily censored. There are parts where it's like very deliberately blurred out. It's like one whole scene and then one line through the one that is blurred out.
So it's
or like one wall, then the wall is blurred out.
It's obvious that the filmmaker didn't want to cut out anything. Right? I guess they sent it to LPF. I mean, I did hear I have internal sources they were telling me about the censorship process lah, which I'm not going to repeat here. But basically it's censored. But you can obviously see that the filmmakers didn't want to cut out anything, and they blurred out like say maybe they were told to cut out certain scenes like every time you see, because May 13 happened after the elections, right? After the general elections, when I think DAP won a lot of seats or something like that, and then it caused some riots and all that. So you've got the scenes are in town, in the city, and you see a lot of like
flags, election party
banners and posters and all that. All of them are blurred out. All. You know.
So there's a scene where the bus is moving through the town, right?
So they blur everything except for the main character.
It's like what?
Yeah.
It's so jarring.
So it's obviously jarring. a sort of like protest against the censorship lah.
Yeah, and then like there are parts where the scene is going on, but the dialogue is muted.
They just mute the entire thing.
Yeah, so you don't know.
No subtitles, and it's muted, but you can see them talking and all that.
Yeah.
And then back to normal. The audio.
So it's very jarring.
Yeah.
Which made it a little bit, for me, hard to watch.
I like that though.
I know I like the protest and I like what it symbolizes, this blurring, but it was hard to watch lah. It's a film. The film was made, I think, very seriously and very deliberately. So every single scene in there is it's really crafted one. It's very deliberately made. So it doesn't feel to me like anyway like when you watch a film, it's kind of like a natural, whatever is happening is like quite natural. Like, oh, I'm taking the bus to go somewhere, and it feels natural. But this one didn't feel like that to me. Everything that happened, every movement, every like dialogue, whatever, is all very, very deliberate lah, and like seeped in context even a bit.
It's very formalistic. The film is the film is very formalistic and symbolic. There are characters that appear that are obviously very non-diegetic characters as well. I mean, you don't see them in the characters don't really see them. They're not real life characters, but as the audience you see lah. Like for example, that man on the elephant suddenly appears, Raja Basiong and all that, right? Yeah, and then that's another thing. Remember there was footage of the Raja Basiong movie? Which also censored.
They also censored.
But this movie was released, everybody watched it already in Malaysia last time, And not only that, it's based on like Malay annals,
Correct.
Which is part of history, And you censored that?
They censored it because it was like him drinking from the bowl, right? So it's like.
But why do you censor something that is in Malay history?
Correct.
That everybody's supposed to learn, So I agree with how the filmmakers wanted to how the filmmakers decided to censor the film right?
Yep.
Because it doesn't show how stupid the filmmakers are. It doesn't show how stupid the audience is. It kind of shows how stupid the censorship was.
Yeah.
So I like that. I
agree.
Yeah, and the film itself also it's one of those artsy-fartsy films.
It felt very heavy for me. Like the entire film was just so heavy. I think if I had watched it in a setting where everybody was quiet, and I say this because there was a auntie uncle sitting next to me and they were just talking
the entire time. Yeah, I was very annoyed.
But without them talking, if I watched it in complete silence like normal people in the cinema, it would have been so heavy. It would have been really like, it would have really weighed on me. Every single scene was just so heavy and so full. It was almost bordering on tiring. But I think that's the filmmaker's intention, because this is not like a play topic, or this is not something that I think he wants people to take lightly, you know. May 13 is like, I feel like in today and everything, it's always kind of like almost a taboo subject, but not really. It's either you are far removed from it, or you don't want to talk about it at all. Especially between the Malays and the Chinese, because that was like the peak point of tension, right? So that's not what he wanted, you know. He wanted you to feel it and to really like kind of address your discomfort in a way, which is why he made the film the way that he made the film lah. At the same time, there's a lot of even the characters in the film carry a lot of sorrow with them, you know, like Eng, the daughter who you know grows up to try to look for her father and brother's grave. Also, she carries so much of it with her that she only releases it right at the end, and I could feel that release when I was watching it, because it was just so heavy lah throughout the entire film. Yeah, so it was memang meant to be a very serious film, not for entertainment purposes.
I think it's entertaining. I enjoy watching films like this. I can switch between watching different types of films, and this is one of the types of films that I can enjoy watching lah. It is very heavy, like you said, but I find entertainment in the heaviness of it, and the fact that it makes me want to think about these issues is entertaining to me. Because you know I'm intellectual. But I don't know, because I didn't live through 1969, but because I kind of like history, and I like political issues and racial issues like this, can I say that I kind of relate or identify? Not really, right? But it interests me lah, you know. And May 13, 1969 is something that I have read a lot about and researched a lot about, you know. And we don't really have like a proper legit narrative of what happened. It's always the case of when we talk about May 13 is
so they said
yeah, and then you have your formal narrative of what it was, but
the oral histories
you've got so much more stories that counter it.
Yeah,
you know, and I don't know. It's that's why I was thinking, right? People who go and watch this film, it's going to be so many different types of people.
Yeah.
You've got the Chinese who will go and watch it, who'll be like, they'll be like, oh, you see, this was how Chinese were treated last time. Look what happened. Oh, unjust. You'll have that valid reason, really valid feelings that they would have. Especially if they went through it, because you still have a generation that did experience that was alive.
Yeah.
That was alive during that time.
That was sitting next to us, probably.
Yeah. Because like my parents also, they're still alive, and May 13 happened when they were like teenagers really, you know, or late teens even, like my father.
Yeah.
You know, so they would probably know what was going on. And then you would get those who will come and watch and say, oh, this happened so long ago. Okay lah, we can't watch a bit of history. You know, kesian, and then that's it. You know, and then you have the woke as fuck people who will come and say, oh, you gotta look for justice. Even though they probably don't have any connection to it.
Don't know what they're looking for.
Looking for a cause.
Yeah,
looking for a cause. Oh my god, I'm being so judgmental. But yeah, I mean, I think that overall we should be able to discuss it if we want to discuss it lah. And it doesn't matter who you are, whether you lived through it or didn't live through it. You know, if you're Malaysian, and everybody has a right to discuss it and have feelings about it, no matter what the feelings are. You know, we can make fun of it, but it's valid feelings. You know, so with all that in mind, I think that this film for me was worthwhile in being made and being shown despite the censorship. You know, because I think the way the filmmakers censored it also kind of played into the narrative and into the story of it and all that lah. You know, I don't know much about Chong Kit On. I know the film that he made last time. I think we liked it. I think we enjoyed the film that he did, the last one, Southern Island thing. We have to watch back the review lah. Maybe we watch so much, sometimes we forget lah. It's a pride of honor thing, right? A badge of honor. We've forgotten more than we've actually reviewed. We've forgotten more films that we've reviewed than you have probably seen. Local films lah. Fuyo, action, right? Yeah. But yeah, do you have anything else to say? What do you think about? Should people watch it?
Yeah, you should watch it. You shouldn't be distracted when you're watching it. You should go in with a open heart and mind, and concentrate. It can get a bit difficult at times because of the pacing, for me lah anyway, and I think just in general. But you should go watch it and pay attention.
Yeah, I think everybody should go and watch this film. Oh, I wanted to add also that this happened in KL. There are so many Chinese and Malays all around the country who didn't experience the same thing because it just happened in this one small area in KL. Not to invalidate the death and the violence, but like my mother, for example, she was in JB. You know, Chinese family too, you know, but they were like, oh, what happened in KL? There are a lot of people like that too, you know.
And like my mother is from Setiawan, and she's actually more affected by the communist insurgency that happened before this than she is by May 13th. So it's interesting also, like what people remember lah.
But there is a big communist narrative that was kind of like woven into this May 13 as well.
Slightly.
You know? So it's complicated. Facebook says it's complicated.
It's complicated.
But it's a great catalyst for those of you who are not too familiar, this movie could be a great catalyst for you to go and find out more. For those of you who are very familiar with the issue, this could be something to just think about, you know, and see from a different perspective, and see from a very interpretive kind of perspective, you know.
So let's talk about it. Like this video.
Let us know what you think. Ooh, very serious, heavy review today.
Like this video.
Very intellectual. Like this video, don't like this video, subscribe to our channel. Follow us on all our social media platforms at FatBidin, or go to fatbidin.com to get everything you've been watching and listening to the Fat Bidin Film Club. I'm assuming I'm Zan Azli.
And I'm Shalay Mustaman. And we're not communists.